Welcome to the Intercourse Show. I'm your host, Mr. B. Today we have a very exciting show for you. For those of you who've not been following along current news, trending news, apparently Jay-Z has made the news because he's currently aired out a few of the people who's been critics of his, from Drake to Dame Dash to Nicki Minaj and a plethora of others, Kanye and others. He apparently aired all that stuff out at the Roots picnic this past weekend, and he had some things to say. He had to get off his chest. So I think this is the precursor of some things to come. All right, let me jump in, give you what was, I guess, a quick, brief analysis of some of the things he said, and then we'll get reactions to what he said.
The leprechauns have magically run out of praise. Your son on the federal jail line mumbling something about having too much in his drink. You know how dumb that is? Another one fumbled his, wonder how I get the blame. Niggas' teeth is tumbling out their mouth, and somehow I'm the one who done it. It's a murder mystery game.
Dame Dash. Shout out Dame Dash, Tory Lanez.
You had to catch Cal and thunk it. Was you who punked his? I'm the one who strung the pain. That hill you can die on. It's way too much flack that comes from those planes. I'm killing them softly. What's understood don't need to be explained. You want it one way, it's the other. I spill on you suckers, I maul you niggas gang. I ain't much for me, it's no how. Cancel the brunches, I remember the hunger pain. The price of the bricks going up. It's gonna cost you a beat to even say my name. You ever heard of a wonder kid? My children is some of them. Have you niggas no shame? Y'all trying to get understand? I really get understand. As unharmed player. Y'all thugs with y'all thumbs again. Everybody think they're the ones insane. You're no maniac. Watch y'all saniac in my presence, nigga, straight. I need a new therapist. This shit is not working. I'm truly on the brink. Y'all better not encourage him. Y'all don't want me to think these thoughts that I think. That nut-ass nigga still stuttering. And Chatty Patty down on his luck again. Quest introducing me to Jaguar. I don't know why I still fuck with him.
Jaguar White is supposed to say.
You wonder why I do the freestyle rehearsal. That lady back on the stuff, she sound like she in love with him. Her kid can't even take their kids. Enough of them. A rapper can't be my eye. I got MAGA Republicans. Those shots came from the very top of the government. Good luck with them. I'm governed by God. You trying to break the government. I prayed for 40 days. My neck get flooded again. This get flooded again. My net worth went up again. My next update, the jig is up. Nigga, I'm up 10. Wrong chart, champ. You gotta look up again. Niggas look up the Hove. I never looked up to them. The crackers got your publishing gangster. Go talk tough to them. Don't talk success to me. You niggas is workers. In perpetuity is how your contract is worded. Don't make me go first. Man. The roots remember, even when the trees pretend, not too much of my name. Don't forget who I am. Hattie loves her Shawnees. S-H-A-W-N. I find it adorable she put the S at the end. You don't know, the show ain't even begin. I said, you don't know, the show ain't even begin.
I got one challenge for you. Try Whisper Flow once. Okay, so that was Jay-Z. He had some things to say, and he was not a fan of a lot of people. Tony Bugsby got it. That's the attorney that's been trying to sue him for everything, making all sorts of crazy allegations about activities he was into. Then you got Dame Dash. He pretty much said Dame Dash fumbled the bag. which is his own thing. But what we want to do is let's actually view some of the reaction to Jay-Z's attack. So let's go here. This is somebody who I believe is more of a Drake supporter. But he's apparently got some opinions on this. So let's go ahead and share this tab and get him to weigh in.
I told you so. If you watch one of my recent videos, I said that Jay-Z would have a lot to say to people. He would be firing back at people, not just with music, but with media and a host of other things that he has at his helm and control. And Jay-Z right now is at the Roots picnic, and he did some freestyles. He dropped a couple bars. He said some things that were direct shots at multiple people, rappers, media members, and ex-friends and business partners. Let's get right into it. But before we go any further, please make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and definitely hit the hype button if you're watching on mobile. It's time to get into it because there's smoke on the horizon. All right, so we're going to go right into the footage. The first thing you're going to notice is there's a change with Jay-Z's appearance. The locks are gone and he is sporting a fro, a whole new look. And this is symbolic, right? This is showing out with the old and in with the new, and what kind of mode is he about to get back into? I told you he was fed up with people saying things and he was going to respond. It's only so much a person can take before they are going to lash out, especially a person who has as much power and control as him. This is just human nature. Let's listen closely.
Explain. You wanted one way or the other. I still want you suckers out mauling you niggas gang. I ain't much for meetings, no how. Cancel the punches, I remember the hunger pain.
So he's not much for meetings anyhow or somehow is what he's saying here. So I think this is in reference to the meeting with Jay-Z or 500,000. He's saying, I'm not much for meetings anyway. This is the first subliminal to Drake. And then he said he canceled the brunches because he remembers the hunger pains. The Rock Nation brunch has not happened in the past few years. So maybe this is a sign that Hov is distancing himself from a lot of people, like Diddy for one.
The price of the bricks going up. It's gonna cost you a beat and even say my name.
The price of the bricks went up. It's going to cost you a beat to even say my name. Now, this is number one, a play on his wife. Her name is Beyonce, and she had the song Say My Name, Say My Name. But do you know who this is really in reference to? He's talking to Drake. Drake's latest album, Iceman, featured a song called Whisper My Name. And in this song, he said this directed at Jay-Z.
I take 500K not a dinner. I never could learn shit from none of y'all.
So who's crazy now? This is exactly what was going to play out if you watch the chessboard. But let's keep listening.
Trying to get understand, I really get understand. Ask how I'm playing.
So now he's saying you're trying to really get under my skin, but if you really want to get under my skin, ask how I'm playing. If you don't know, Jay-Z once stabbed someone named Rivera. This is documented, whatever. So he's saying basically, I really play that way if that's what you're trying to get into.
You're one sentence away from launching your website with Base 44. Since the beginning of the internet, there's never been such a
Y'all thought with your thumbs again. Everybody think they're the ones insane. You're no maniac. Watch y'all saniac in my presence, nigga shrink. I need a new therapist. This shit is not working. I'm truly on the brink. Y'all better not encourage him. Y'all don't want me to think these thoughts that I think. That nut-ass nigga still stuttering. And Chatty Patty down on his luck again.
Okay, so now this is now double layered here. He's talking about Drake, like, don't encourage him to come at me because I'm prepared. And then when he says this Chatty Patty's down on his luck again, he's then referencing Dame Dash, who of course has had some financial issues that are well documented. He's stuttering. He's looking crazy in every interview. Jay-Z is firing back at everyone.
Introducing me to Jaguar. I don't know why I still fuck with him.
Now he's getting that Jaguar right, who is online accusing Jay-Z of every conspiracy under the sun for probably the last decade. So he's saying, I met Jaguar right through Questlove, so I should be mad at Quest, but that's still my man. Now, this is the Roots picnic. This is really not even a big deal. Remember, Jay has 3 shows at Yankee Stadium in a couple of weeks. Everything he's doing right now is the warm-up. All these little freestyles, these little jabs, him pacing the stage is him getting his feet back set. He hasn't done this in a long time. So like I said, this is the warm-up.
That lady back on the stuff, she sound like she in love with him. Her kid, enough of them. Okay.
Now, you know, I got to pay very close attention here because I think he's talking about Nicki Minaj. He's saying that lady's back on that stuff again. And he said something about a kid, but then he paused. Now, if you remember in Nicki's back and forth with Cardi B, there were some very heinous accusations and they brought up each other's children. It got a little crazy here. But then he said that lady's back on that stuff. Now, this is not what I'm saying. This is what the internet was saying, that Nicki Minaj might have been using some substances and that's why her behavior has been so erratic. Again, not what I'm saying. This is what the internet has theorized, and Nicki and Jay have been back and forth. So this could be a shot at Nicki here.
Rapper can't beat my eye. I got mad at Republicans. Them shots came from the very top of the...
Now he says a rapper can't be my op, right? A rapper can't be my op. This is a theory, and this is how I told you Jay-Z views this whole thing. He's basically saying, I'm the biggest bro. You guys all look up to me. I don't see you as my peers. I could never beef with y'all. This is to Nicki. This is to Drake. This is to whoever has said his name or maybe jabbed at him. This is how he feels about it. Listen again.
From the very top of the government. Good luck with them. I'm governed by God.
Now he says that came from MAGA Republicans. Who has Nicki been associating herself with over the past few months? Again, all of these bars are aimed directly at people. None of this is by accident.
My net worth went up again. My next update, the jig is up. Nigga, I'm up 10. Wrong chart, champ. You gotta look up again. Niggas look up the hole. I never looked up to them.
All right. Okay. Let's pause. Let's break this down. Let's put the lyrics on screen. Could it be any more clear that he's talking to Drake? He says right here, the jig is up, which is a direct response to what Drake said on the record, Janet.
You know how you OGs rocking already, my nigga. The jig is up.
Now let's talk about it. So again, he's just letting you know this bar is just setting the tone. I'm talking directly to you. He says I'm up 10. He's not talking about $10. He's not talking about 10 albums. He's saying he's up 10 billion. Could he be exaggerating like rappers do? Of course. Or could he really have 10? I don't know. I don't think so. But this is just braggadocious rapper talk. And now he says another thing to Drake. Wrong chart, champ. You gotta look up again. What is he referencing? Two things. First, he's referencing Drake, who just passed him for having the most #1 rap albums by a rapper ever. He just surpassed him. So Drake was looking up to Jay for all of these years, but he finally passed him. But what Jay is saying to him is, I'm not even playing the same game as you. I'm not talking about #1 albums. Let's talk about the bag. And what he's saying is you have to look up to the other chart, which is my net worth. And as I told you in multiple videos, Drake is entering a different part of his career. It's a different lane for him. It's not just about the music. It's about the entrepreneurship and the ownership. He wants to exit just being a rapper and get into billion-dollar business, which is a space that Jay has been playing in for a long time. And this is why Jay sees him as little bro, because he's still chasing Jay-Z in some ways. Musical achievements, no, right? Drake has already surpassed him when it comes to those numbers. But now when it gets down to the business, owning a basketball team or being a part owner, trying to open casinos, right? Those different worlds are worlds that Drake may be in, but he's not in his deepest hole, but he will eventually get there. Think about Rock Nation. Think about owning a label. You know, Drake has OVO, but Jay has Rock Nation, which does distribution, which signs artists. It does a bunch of different things. They also have the talent management arm and the sports management arm. Drake hasn't gotten there yet. He will, and I believe that's what he's trying to do now, which is why you see him trying to negotiate new deals, billion-dollar deals. So it is very clear that the war is on. It is on. It is on the media front, which has been going on back and forth all week between academics, Charlemagne, and different outlets. Again, I'm not saying that is Rock Nation behind that. That is all alleged based on what some people have said. But what we can say is the music front, it's full on as well. It is full on. Jay didn't walk onto the stage without thinking this through. Drake didn't send shots at Jay-Z without thinking this through. I think we all know where this is headed. Again, we are going to see Jay-Z in New York City at Yankee Stadium for 3 nights. Do you think he's going to stop there? He's not. I have another video coming in the next 2 or 3 days about Drake's next project. Do you think Drake is going to stop? He's not. Again, the gloves are off on all fronts. Do we get a Jay-Z project? I think we're going to hear music. He sounds angry. You're going to get another Drake project. He is going to fire shots as well. 2026 is going to be a crazy year. I said it in 2025 at the end. I said all of the big three will be dropping. I said a lot of people will be sending shots at each other because there's no more room for friends. No friends in the industry. I got enemies, got a lot of enemies. The words have been out there for a long time. Things have been going on behind the scenes. Drake is upset at the Super Bowl pick. Jay is doing what's best for the business interests. And eventually those things will come to a head because somebody or nobody wants to be Lil Bro forever. Drake feels he's the best and he wants to continue to push it there. How is he going to get to those multiple billions of dollars? He's going to do it through a record deal, a monumental size deal. And he's not scared to fight any battles. What does he have to lose? Jay-Z at his age, what does he have to lose? Listen, man, y'all got to buckle up because I think it's about to get real sticky. Because here's the other thing I want you to think about. There's other players here. And one player has been pretty quiet, and his name is Kendrick Lamar. You know, Jay-Z and Kendrick Lamar, would it be weird if they ever collaborated on music? I wonder if that would happen. If maybe they jump on the same record. You know who else Jay gives verses to? DJ Khaled. You know who else he gives verses to? Rick Ross. You know who else gets some whole verses sometimes? Pusha T. You know what producer Jay-Z works with a lot and he was seen working with? Pharrell. What do all of those guys have in common? They don't like Drake. So would you be surprised if there is some music or a song or a 16 or some features that Jay jumps on or Kendrick jumps on with some of those guys and shots just start flying everywhere? Would you be surprised? Would you be surprised if, you know, in the next few weeks or months, a Drake project drops called Scary Hours 4? You know, where he gets to rapping, and he could really send some shots like he did on Iceman, but at a different level because he's not worried about selling. He'd just be worried about what he's putting into the raps. Would you be surprised if he fired at everybody? Listen, man, I want to know what you think. Go in the comments right now. What do you think about what Jay-Z did? Was it a smart move? Does he sound prepared? Does he sound ready? And how will Drake respond? This thing barely got started, but I'm so excited to see what will happen. I just want to hear good music. Send some shots out. I don't like the media stuff because I think those narrative painting and the smear campaigns, that gets a little too ugly. But if y'all going to take, you know, go back and forth on wax, I think that's the best thing. Let's have at it. It's been a long time coming. They've both been dissing each other for a while, but I think the moment is finally here. I don't think it's going to be some big back and forth battle record for record, but in the music, in the bars, in the subliminals, the shots will be there. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Please hit the hype button. Get this into the...
Definitely support my man. He gave his view on this. Well, it definitely has been brewing for some time between the two artists. Obviously, you have the guy who's been at the top of the leaderboard for a long time, and then you have the up and coming who's always kind of had his eyes on a prize the whole time, right? He always wanted the top spot, and now he's at a point where he feels like this is his moment to grab that spot. But I think for Jay-Z, he's so diversified in his dominance in terms of what he's done that it's hard to kind of, you know, quantify his reach, right? Like Jay-Z, yes, he was sort of dominated the rap game for some time, so much so that a lot of younger artists looked up to him. But then you also have other aspects of it where he started Rock Nation. He's managing athletes, right? He's getting a big bag from that. He's done the business thing where he's put his name behind alcohol. He's done the apparel thing where his clothes made major deals and was, you know, a trend. I mean, he's done the Reebok, you know, thing where he's, you know, sold products, right? So and he's a owner of NBA basketball team. Like he's a owner on that front. The guy is literally, you know, managing, you know, the halftime entertainment shows. It's really at the NFL, which is probably the biggest grossing sports organization in the U.S. his influence is all over the place. I mean, from the political connections he's got with the Obamas and Democratic Party to the fact that even his lady and the way his life is structured is also revered. They're viewed as a power couple. Like, he cemented himself in such a way that it's really kind of hard to compare him to anybody to say, well, somebody has surpassed his influences, his reach. I don't know if Drake can make that argument. And I think that's a losing argument for Drake. But I think Jay-Z's definitely at a point where, you know, guys are taking shots as his kid, and, you know, they're saying that maybe the kids may have some challenges. And I do think that is a line too far. When you start talking about people's kids, it's just not it, man. Like, it's just way too personal. So you got everybody trying to get his attention by talking a lot. And for the most part, for 20 some odd years, this dude has just subliminally reacted, never really overtly said anything to anybody. And he did say in an earlier interview that he's going to play offense this year. And he's just going to engage and tackle some things and not allow people to ruin the legacy he's built for himself. And I can understand where that's coming from. You can't put 20 some odd years into a legacy. It's probably more than that, 30 some odd years into a legacy, and then let people, you know, essentially, you know, piss on your legacy. You know, you can't sit idly by and allow that to happen. So I do think there's a part where a lot of it may be beneath him, but he does feel it's necessary to say something about it, because otherwise people will formulate narratives, and in the eyes of public opinion, you know, the perception of somebody can shift. And you've seen that happen to Sean Puffy Combs. There was a guy whose the perception of him was that he was, you know, an influencer, someone that others should look up to, a pioneer, you know, and then in a flick of an eye, the perception of him totally changed from something positive to he's a monster, woman beater, trafficking women. Now he's viewed as a criminal, and anything associated with him has got a negative connotation. I think Jay-Z can see the writing on the wall. If I sit back and let people talk crazy and stain my name and not play any offense, then what happened to Diddy could happen to me. So at some point, he's, you know, you can't just sit and let it be what it is. Sometimes you got to step out and confront some things. And I think that's what he's attempting to do. But I don't think he really feels anybody's really on his level, that he would need to sort of validate, you know what I'm saying, their arguments against him by responding to it. So I think that's Jay-Z's point of view. I think in his mind, he's like, look, these dudes can't really touch me, man. I'm not nowhere. I'm out of the stratosphere, right? But again, you can understand Drake's point of view. I think Drake's kind of, you know, firing at everybody in all directions. And he's always been kind of gunning for a Jay-Z spot, but it's not. I mean, kudos to Drake. I'm a Drake fan. I like his music. Come on, man. It's a whole different conversation when it comes to that. From a lyrical standpoint, I don't know that Drake can survive that battle. From a lyrical standpoint, that's a different animal right there. And then just from a tactical standpoint, that dude has billions of dollars in the bank. He's got all the time in the world for the fuckery. He's got the reach. He's got the social influence. You think Kendrick Lamar's little social influence and the little movement he was able to do 2 years ago made a splash? Jay-Z's influence is going to be far greater than that. If people had to pick sides between Jay-Z and Drake, Drake's not winning that. I'm just being honest. Drake's not going to win that. Whether it's on a lyrical thing, Drake's going to win sales. You got to give it to him on that level. Drake fighting Kendrick Lamar is more of an equal. He's he's not able to fight Jay-Z. That's a Nas level conversation. And I couldn't see Drake trying to compete against Nas. It wouldn't even be a battle in my view. Again, taking nothing away from Drake. I'm a fan. I like the guy. I like his music. I actually, am proud of the project he put out. I want to see him win. I want to see him get his money, but this is a different animal. You know what I'm saying? And when he said what he said, he's like, you're looking at the wrong charts, bro. Like, you're looking at the fact that maybe you surpassed the record that I may have held at some point. But let's be honest, that's not the right chart. Like, you might get a $2 billion deal. I'm already a person who's a billionaire. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a co-owner of a basketball team. I own a major, management company. I've flipped title and different types of projects and made hundreds of millions of dollars on those things. My name's on different type and associated with different types of liquor brands. There isn't a car I haven't had. There isn't a house I don't have. I have political connections. Like I'm actually at the table with the people you got to answer to. It's a different conversation. I mean, it's if we really think about it, people are going to speculate, and it's something good and it's entertaining because it's rhetoric, but it really and truly, there's really no conversation here. And again, I like Drake, but I'm not saying that Jay-Z's without his flaws. I'm sure he's got his flaws, but what he's saying is credible and it's valid because most of Drake's interviews speaking about Jay-Z, he's bigging him up, saying this guy is the standard, the benchmark that others need to measure themselves by. This is by Drake's own estimation. It's almost like Allen Iverson's great. Kobe Bryant is great. When they talk about Michael Jordan, none of them think they're Michael Jordan, bro. They all know that that's the great. It's only a few like the LeBron James and some of those guys who just is talking crazy and think that they could even measure to a guy like that. I mean, taking nothing away from what LeBron and others have accomplished in their careers. LeBron specifically has done a lot of great things and done records and things like. He's no Michael Jordan. Let's just keep it 1,000. Let's be honest. Michael Jordan paved the way for LeBron to even make money the way that he's making money. Like Michael Jordan carried the NBA on his back and took it from this level to this level globally. The guy, I mean, he ain't played basketball probably in close to 40 years, probably. No, not 40. I'm dragging it. I'd say probably close somewhere in the 30 plus year mark. The guy still gets like $72 million on this thing. Nike was not a brand that was a notably recognized brand when Jordan started. So Jordan can be credited for the success of Nike, which is why he collects so much money in royalties from lending his name to the brand. Like, this is a guy who's built brands. Like, LeBron may get a Nike deal, but Jordan helped make Nike, the company, what it is. Like, this is like, we can't even have a conversation. And to me, this is where I feel like this is kind of in that space. You know, like, you're not really having a conversation when it comes to this. Now, you can hate the guy. You may not like him. You may think he's outdated, whatever the case. But it's really a different conversation. And honestly, on a lyrical side, I think Drake's outmatched there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think you're going to convince a group of people that Drake is going to say some things about Jay-Z that's going to somehow dethrone Jay-Z's influence. I don't see it. He may get he may say some chippy things here and there, and you're like, ooh, he got him on that. as a body, like, again, going back, Jay-Z is a tested. He's been beefing with people like real lyricists for a long time. Real lyricists. Nas is a real lyricist. He's been beefing with him for a long time. 50 Cent is a real lyricist. He's been beefing with him. I mean, I think he at one point sparred with, you know, Mason, and he sparred with the Cam'rons. He sparred. These are like lyricists. Like, he sparred with some real people. I want to say Jadakiss at one point had some issues. These are like real lyricists. Like, this isn't like, and the dude is known as a battle rapper. Like, he's, you know, he sparred like with DMX. I think he battled him. Like, this dude is tested in this craft of wordplay. You know what I'm saying? So he's not backing down in a lyrical battle with a Drake who had his hands full dealing with Kendrick Lamar. And I like Drake. I'm saying this. I like Drake. I prefer Drake over the Kendrick Lamar beef. Obviously, Kendrick got the better of him. But I'm listening more to Drake than I'm ever listening to Kendrick Lamar. It's not to say Kendrick Lamar don't have some songs I like, but I'm not bumping Kendrick Lamar like that. I'm just being honest. And Kendrick Lamar gave Drake a run for his money. Pretty much laid him out. Keeping it honest, but Jay-Z is not Kendrick Lamar. Like, this it's a different situation. This is a heavyweight, bro. So like, and it's not, and there's enough that he's done in his career that he's already validated in the minds of the people listening to him. Drake is not a young boy. Like, he's an older dude. He's in his 40s, possibly. You know what I'm saying? He's of that era. There's the reason why he was doing music with those guys. Like, he's not a young kid. So he knows the Jay-Z's pedigree. He knows what he comes with. Like, this isn't a walk in a park. Not at all. No way, no sir. So Drake would have his hands all the way full. He can't say he's got more money than Jay-Z. He don't. He can't say he's got more influence or he smashed more girls or whatever the case. I don't think he can say that. He can't say he's done more than Jay-Z. Again, I just ratted it out. Now, Drake's done some things. Musically, he's the man right now. And has been the man for a long time. And he has put a lot of people on. This is not to take nothing away from Drake. But from a point of influence, it's not the same. Like, Jay-Z went through it's almost literally the ascension of Jordan. Think about it. Jordan was a player that was on nobody's radar. He wasn't picked first, right? He proved himself, went from a player to an all-star to a champion to doing impossible feats like winning 2 3-peats to retiring, becoming an owner, and leaving his mark on the game as a major influencer that others aspire to be like. You can say a similar trend for Jay-Z. He went from a guy that wasn't a heavyweight, probably underestimated coming in, to at one point having a run that was unchallenged, to retiring from rap, assuming executive role in rap or in the industry, in the music industry as a whole, to owning a major label, Rock Nation, and now he's able to say he's an owner of various franchises, NBA franchises. He's owns organizations. He's doing a lot of different types of deals. Like, the guy is kind of a standard. No matter how you feel about him, you have to acknowledge that he's accomplished quite a lot in his craft, and his net worth continues to increase. And if we're keeping that as a measure of success, it's not even close. Like, if we're being honest, like him or not, these are the facts. So you can't flex on him. It's not like Drake battling with Rick Ross, and Rick Ross is saying he's the boss, and Drake saying he's the boss, and one person feels like they're richer than the other person. That's a conversation they got. This is verifiable. Like, this dude's a billionaire. He's got real ventures that went real places. Like, he's sitting at big boy tables in presidential places. Like, this is not like the same conversation. It's not it just isn't. And I like Drake. I like him, but this is a different situation, bro. Like, this is a guy who's, Nas is a pinnacle within himself, lyrically, meaning he's respected for the craft. You know what I'm saying? His name is being mentioned in the top 5. Like, this is a real guy. It's not a walk in the park. This is not. It's a different situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, him and Eminem would be on a lyrical battle level. Eminem, Nas, those Jay-Z, those guys are like on that level of rap. And again, I like Drake. I think he's got bars. I think he's very calculated. It's a similar rapping style, and they're very subliminally tough in terms of how they say what they're saying indirectly, sometimes directly. But again, I don't know how Drake flexes on Jay-Z. How do you flex on him? The dude's got the hottest chick in the game wearing his chain, as he said. That's undeniable. There isn't a thing he hasn't accomplished if you're really thinking about it. From the standpoint of success and being the topper and having influence, he can sell out stadiums, and his influence is still major and big. He sat in the boss's seats. So in a way, this is a guy who's talking to the people who's running Drake's organization on an equal level. Like, hey, I've been an executive. Like, I'm on that level. Like, he's got enough influence that when the NFL was trying to little boy him, he took a stand, and then they eventually gave him a seat at the table. Like, this is real. Like, this is real influence. This isn't like a joke. So I don't know. I'm just saying, I don't see a scenario where Drake can pull rank on Jay-Z. I just don't. But again, I've been wrong before. I could be wrong, but this would be a different situation. And Jay-Z hasn't lost a step in his lyrical acumen. Like, this dude is about that lyrical life. Like, he speaks Drake's language, probably a tier or two above. So it's not a walk in the park. That's my take. What I'll do is I'll play another. I think there was another guy who had something to say. The Angry Man. I don't know if he's a fan of Jay-Z, but let's see what his response was. Just balance this whole thing out. Let's go ahead and play his take.
Nicki Minaj, you're throwing shots at Dame Dash, you're throwing shots at everybody. And it's like, bro, you won in life. You won. You're a freaking billionaire. Why are you bothered? Why are you this bothered?
My net worth went up again. My next update, the jig is up. Nigga, I'm up 10. Wrong chart, champ. You gotta look up again. Niggas look up the Hove. I never looked up to them. The crackers got your publishing gangster. Go talk tough to them. Don't talk success to me. You niggas is workers. In perpetuity is how your contract is worded. Don't make me go for man. The roots remember, even when the trees pretend, not too much of my name. Don't forget who I am. Hattie loves her Shawnees, S-H-A-W-N. I find it adorable she put the S at the end. You don't know, the show ain't even begin. I said, you don't know, the show ain't even begin.
Okay. I guess we'll have the memories, you know. I guess we'll have the memories of who he used to be and, you know, the music that he used to put out. And I know there's going to be a lot of people that's not going to agree with my take on this, but like I'm exhausted. I'm really exhausted. I remember a few years back, right? My wife was like, yo, I got tickets to this Jay-Z concert. And I was like, yo, I don't even really want to go. You know, my wife and my daughter went. I didn't even go. And because I was like, if we're being totally honest, like, I don't really talk about it publicly on my live streams and stuff, but, you know, I've been tired of Jay. Just based on a lot of the business moves he's been doing and a lot of the things, like, he's doing a lot of things and has done a lot of things that I don't agree with at all, you know. And I'm not going to get into every last aspect of every little thing that he's doing, but I will say this, we'll keep it on what's currently going on, right? So when I saw him do that interview, you know, that softball interview with that nobody, and he's, you know, talking about, you know, this, that, and the third, right before Iceman was about to drop, I'm like, you know, I'm reading between the lines. I'm seeing what's going on. You know, I'm peeping the game, right? And I'm like, why does it seem like you're trying your best to, you know, get in front of this situation? Because I feel like he knew Drake was going to diss him in Iceman, you know, so he went and did that interview and, you know, started talking like, oh, you know, I don't think beef is good for the culture anymore. And so it's like, oh, so now beef isn't good for the culture? Now beef isn't good for the culture. And the crazy thing about it is in that interview, you talked about how they tried to put a jacket on you, try to accuse you of something that you didn't do as it pertains to women. And you was like, yo, you don't just put a jacket on people like that. You got to be real careful before you know, make accusations like that. And I'm sitting there listening to him and I'm like, bro, you back Kendrick, who was putting the jacket on Drake. You literally put that man on the Super Bowl stage so that he could put a jacket on another man that he has yet to prove. But then you're talking about how they put the jacket on you, or was trying to put the jacket on you, and it wasn't right. I mean, the level of hypocrisy is crazy. The level of hypocrisy is just out of this world, right? So, first off, I'm looking at this freestyle, and I'm like, okay, so basically you're upset because Drake broke your record. That's really what this is about, right? But outside of that, the one thing that kept standing out in my mind is I'm like, why is he on stage dressed up like Eazy-E? Like, he's literally got on the shades, the clothing he's wearing looks very West Coast-ish. You feel me? Mm-hmm. And then the blowed out afro or whatever, that's some Eazy-E type shit. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, what's the symbolism behind it? Are you trying to show Drake that you're really behind Kendrick and the whole West Coast thing? Is that what you're trying to do? And I'm gonna keep it real with you. This goes all the way back to when Onyx came out with Slam, right? Where they had the 6'4s jumping up and down in the video. I've never liked seeing New Yorkers act like they from Los Angeles. I've never liked that shit. That shit always looks crazy to me. Like, bro, New York has its own identity. Why are you doing that, right? So he's standing up there with a whole freaking looking like he's West Coast, right? With the blowout. And the other thing that I'm thinking about, bro, you just had locks. And we're not talking about regular locks. We're talking about matted up Basquiat locks, right? How the hell did you unlock your hair? Somebody really needs to, like, if you know how he did it, someone please tell me in the chat, because I thought when you lock your hair up, you would have to cut it off. And if he cut it off, how would he have an afro this fast? That doesn't make any sense. I'm starting to really wonder if what Choke No Joke was saying was actually true, right? If you don't know what Choke No Joke said, you got to go look up his interview where he's talking about Jay-Z's hair, right? I ain't going to say it here because I don't know if it's true. But he's up there talking his smack. And it's just like, I'm like, bro, it's no longer your era, fam. I think one of the things that bothers me the most.
I dare you to let me build you a completely free e-commerce store.
Is that when certain rappers reach a certain level, or entertainers in general, whether it be rappers, whether it be movie stars, whether it be R&B singers, it's like, you know, TV stars, like, yo, at some point you got to bow out gracefully. You can't go out bad trying to reclaim former glory, you know, like, and you're talking about The Rock will never crumble. The Rock been crumbled. The Rock been, I don't see Dame on stage with you. I mean, sure, you might be able to bring Bleak out. Bleak gonna always rock with you. You might be able to bring Beanie Siegel out. You know, there's a few people you're gonna be able to bring out, but The Rock that I know, it ain't that no more, man. And don't get it twisted. I was a fan. It breaks my heart to see this. It really breaks my heart to see this, but it just looks like, as much as I hate to say this, it looks like you're just, it looks like you're bitter, bro. It looks like you're upset that somebody else has the spotlight. That's really what it looked like, man. And it's like, bruh, what are we doing? What are we doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is just like when Jim Jones and Fab and Mano and, you know, all of them, you know, started spitting freestyles at 50 and you know, Papoose, all of them, right? Everybody's like, yo, 50 he need to drop a track. He need to do a diss track. No, he doesn't. He doesn't. 50 actually did what a man of his caliber is supposed to do. Ignore that goofy shit. Because he's already moved past rap. You feel me? Because he's already moved past rap, why would he waste his energy trying to recapture 2003? Because if he puts out a track right now dissing them, you know what I'm saying? Y'all ain't gonna look at that the way you looked at it when it was 50 Cent in the Bulletproof Vest. Because he's not 50 Cent in the Bulletproof Vest anymore. He's not 50 Cent in the Bulletproof Vest with the G-Unit spinner and the hat on the do-rag. That ain't him no more. But I feel like people be wanting individuals to do certain things. They want to set them up for failure. They wanted 50 to put out a diss track so they could say it was lame or so they could say it was trash. And he knew it. And so he did what a man of his caliber should do. And if you really want to be honest, I really don't understand why Jay-Z put on the suit if he took it off. Why go back to rocking the streetwear and all of that? If you switched up, because back then, you know, change clothes, right? Back then you switched to the suit, right? Because if you go back and read Empire State of Mind, you said, well, what was said in the book was that you knew you and Dame was going different directions when you and Dame was at a meeting and you showed up in a suit and he still had on streetwear. Now, Damus came out and said, of course he wears streetwear because that's culture. That's hip-hop culture. He always going to do that, right? So if part of the reason you stopped rocking with Dame is because you felt like he wasn't elevating and improving by putting on a suit, then why did you take the suit off? Because you keep transforming. You know what I'm saying? If at first you was Jay with the low cut Caesar, that's who we know. Then you turned into Basquiat, you know, with these locks looking crazy as hell. Now you out here with a freaking blowout, you know, afro looking like you know, looking mad militant, looking like you about to join the Black Panther Party for change and shit. You know, out here rocking the fro like Eazy-E. You feel me? And I'm gonna keep it funky. It don't look right. It don't look right at all. But you're throwing shots at, you know, Drake. You're throwing shots at Nicki Minaj. You're throwing shots at Dame Dash. You're throwing shots at everybody. And it's like, bro, you won. You in life, you won. You're a freaking billionaire. Why are you bothered? Why are you this bothered? Like, cats be trying to act like Drake ain't relevant and Drake ain't at the top of the damn mountain. But, bro, Drake made this dude freestyle. Drake made this dude get rid of his locks and jump out on the stage and freestyle. A billionaire. Do you honestly think, like, it's two things that didn't make sense to me. One was you performing for Tom Brady. That was some real step and fetch it, tap dance and shit. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if I'm a billionaire, ain't no, like, Tom Brady's not calling me up and saying, hey, man, I need you to perform at my little ceremony because I'm getting inducted in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, I need you to perform for me. Like, no, I'm a billionaire. I'm not performing for you. That seems really you know, that seems really coonish. That seems really, you know, you want me to come dance a jig? No pun intended. No, I'm not doing that. I'm a billionaire. I'm a billionaire with all kinds of accolades and businesses and all of that. I'm not about to do that. Like, why do you care where Drake is as far as musical achievements? Why do you care? Your place is already solidified in hip-hop history. Is your ego that big that you can't handle another person passing you on certain metrics? And here's the other crazy thing, right? While he was performing, and I don't know how many of you know this, people were in the audience screaming for Beyonce. That's crazy. And that gives credence to what 50 Cent was saying. Because 50 Cent was trying to say that part of the reason Jay continued to get bigger and bigger and bigger was because of Beyonce. He said that's the reason why Jay was invited to the White House when Obama and Michelle was in the office, was because of Beyonce. If he hadn't been married to Beyonce, 50 saying that wouldn't have happened. Now, whether that's true or not, I really don't know. But I do find it crazy that while he's there performing, they're screaming for Beyonce. You know, so I don't know. Like, I hear a lot of people talk about Rock Nation. I hear a lot of people complain about Rock Nation and some of the stuff they doing. I don't know how true any of it is, but all I know is, from my personal opinion, this thing he just did that just went viral where he jumped out there at the Roots Festival or whatever and did this freestyle, it's not a good look. It's not a good look. Y'all could disagree with me if you like, but for me, it's not a good look. If y'all disagree or you agree, you know, put your comments in the chat. Let me know what you guys think. But other than that, man, like I said, we got the memories. We can go back to the 90s, maybe the early 2000s, and look at some of the stuff Jay-Z did back then, and, you know, it's cool. But this, nah.
I think Angry Man made some valid points in that, you know, for the older people, who doesn't feel like he should have to justify himself with by engaging in this. I can understand what that's about, but I think what he's not considering is Jay-Z's kind of got a couple of different angles coming at it. I think if Diddy didn't go down and have to do no jail time, Jay-Z would not be responding. But when people start talking crazy, and he's seen real people who are viewed as influencers, as untouchables, getting jammed up in the legal system, I think now he's choosing to play offense. Because anybody can accuse you of anything. But that's Angry Man's point of view. But what say you? I invite and open the floor up to you guys for you to weigh in on this particular topic. If you're not already a subscribed member of the show, like and subscribe, stay connected to the show. But also weigh in, leave your comment, and let me know what it is that you think about Jay-Z responding, going out on a limb, and calling out some names and really kind of engaging in some of these things. Now, he has, to his credit, held off from saying anything for a long time, and I think there's only but so long a person can continue to let people to drag their name through the dirt. And I guess he's reached his limit. So I respect it, and it'll be interesting to see how things play out. As you guys know, I appreciate you taking the time to tune into the show. It's yours truly, Mr. B. Until we speak again, God bless you, and have a blessed and productive day. Later.